Hello everybody, how are you? This is Michelle with Michelle's Whimsy and Bling. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and it has been a really long time since I have done any kind of a video. Forgive me for just a second as I attempt to get everything set up, and I thought that we were really kind of in the screen and we weren't, so give me just a second. All the things. Okay, maybe a little bit more on the zooming in. I guess I cannot zoom in anymore. All right, so maybe back just a little bit more. Okay, so tonight we are going to play with ink, and I was so excited when I did this. I think last week, I think I may have shared a post of some of the pieces and parts over on Michelle's Whimsy and Bling Facebook page. But so we're going to use our ink pads, water, and paper, and also have a cutting mat. I think this one came from Dollar General, $1, $2. I don't know how much the prices are. So I'm going to show you the pieces that I did, which are the parts that I had shown in the post, I think last week. So you should always use watercolor paper, fluid paper. Let's see what Stampin' Up! Calls it. They call it Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Well, there are 10 pages or 10 pieces in here, and they are a 5x7. Sorry, I must be making you really dizzy with how much I am turning this around. I'm so sorry. Yes, 5x7. It's perfect for watercolor. Wonderful. However, I like to be a little thrifty, so I cut my piece into 4 parts, and this was the end result of using inks. Let's see. I used our markers. These are all our ink colors from 2024 to 2026. I used our markers, although I wish I had written on the back which one was what. And then I had used the blends that I have. I don't have all the colors. I don't have the greens, but I have the Petunia Pop, the Peach Pie, and the Pretty in Pink. So now you might go, but Michelle, these really don't look like they should. Well, that's right, because what did Michelle do that was not the brightest bulb in the box? I did not get my watercolor paper wet before. I just went ahead and did the marker. Then I spritzed it. So yeah, now this one does look a little bit better than this one. So this one must be the blends, which would be these. They're the alcohol base. And you can see, I mean, I've sprayed it a little bit, but it really didn't do anything. So tonight we're going to try it with getting the paper wet first and see what the result is. This one must have been with the markers, which is a little bit better. You can see that it has a little bit more of the softness to it. And this one, I didn't bring them out, but these are the re-inkers. Again, none of this paper was wet before I started, is on the watercolor paper. And I just put dots from the re-inkers on here, and then I spritzed it, and some of them bled. It's an interesting effect, okay? This one, again, was not wet before I started, but I had done the technique that I'm going to show you, which is putting your ink pad down, spritzing it with water, and then putting your paper down on it. So this was the watercolor paper that Stampin' Up! Sells, and apparently you can tell I didn't use it exactly the way I should have. Next up is our basic white, nope, not that one, is our basic white cardstock. It is not intended for watercolor, but I was very much in the zone of I'm going to play with my inks and I'm going to have fun, and that was my sole purpose. So I literally grabbed scraps of paper that I had and I just did the same thing. I mean, you know, we have scraps. I apparently used something there and cut it out. And you're probably wondering what these circles are for. I had a retired stamp that had some very artistically kind of interwoven circles, ovals, and I stamped it. I put ink, or no, excuse me. I used the stamps, stamped them onto my, what did I use? Wax paper. I spritzed it with water, and then I put the paper over it. So that's how I got that effect. It's kind of a cool thing. And then these, I was simply just trying to use up paper. These actually go together, although I don't remember how they go together. Maybe something along those lines-ish. I don't know. But anyways, that was from one piece of paper. So this is with our basic white cardstock, not intended for watercolor, but it does have a nice effect. And then this, again, I was still playing. This is very thin. Not as thin as a piece of copy paper, but it is definitely thinner than our cardstock. This is a sketch pad from the good old Walmart. Again, I was using what I had available, and I honestly thought that it was watercolor paper. And then I found it in the store and it's not. Again, I was using the markers. So this does have a similar effect to the one here that is on the watercolor. I really like this one and this one. And then this is the same, using the circle and oval from the stamp set. It's a very retired stamp set. And putting them down, stamping them, and then picking them up with the ink. Again, so that's what I use. Obviously, you should use watercolor paper. And if you're going to use markers or blends, get it wet first. Don't do what Michelle did. Learn from my mistake. That's why I'm here. And then, you know, you don't have watercolor paper, go ahead and use our white cardstock. You know, when you want to play, you want to play. And then we have this. So at the end, after I show you the little technique, we'll put some of these cards together. I did have a couple I wanted to put cards together for, but we're not going to put together what we create tonight because it does need a little bit of time to dry. So what we're going to do is, it's going to be a little on the messy side. Again, I have my grid paper down here. I have a plastic cutting mat from Pick a Dollar Place. You could use like plastic wrap. I used wax paper. Anything that you can get wet and then wipe it off after you put the ink down. And we are just simply going to put color down. How about we use all of these? I was inspired to do this because I had, I don't know, seen a video from the YouTube of somebody doing this technique. I think they called it smooching. I don't know. I don't even know if there is a correct name for this. I have no idea. And I thought, oh, how cool. Now, you know, you have probably seen many, many, many videos where there are multiple ways to get ink onto a medium such as this. And then you add water and you can make a card out of it. Ooh, why can't I get my Shy Shamrock open? So the reason why I was using these colors, ooh, that's a lot of green there. The reason I was using these colors is because in our team, we have a team challenge this month, and I think we were supposed to use these 4 colors. And I love these in colors. I think they are like beautiful. So here's our water. All I've done is put ink on here. I have not put any water. Okay. here's our watercolor paper. I only cut up 2 sheets. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna rip this. I do like the torn effect. Now, you might hear some noise in the background, and if you do, that is most likely airplanes going by. I live close to the Charleston airport, so some of them are loud. I hear something outside, and I think that's what it is. I don't know. So we've done our ink, and now we're going to just do spritzing our water. You can use as little or as much water as you want. It is all up to you, and no two will ever be the same. Now, I've already cut up the papers that we're going to use, and I do have a lot of ink here, so we're going to start off with our watercolor paper. Now, because I'm using it this way, I don't need to get my watercolor paper wet, unlike before. Okay, so we're just going to put it down. This is going to be a little on the messy side. We're going to pick it up. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Let's see, what can we do over here? Okay, now let's get some of that peach pie in there. Ooh, man, I love this stuff. Like, this is so my jam. Now, I could stop there, or I could try to get that filled in just a little bit. I think I'm gonna try. Well, that was not exactly what I wanted. Okay, we're gonna stop here. This is going to dry off camera. This was with our watercolor paper. Okay, next we're going to use, I did do a lot of ink, so we do have a lot of ink still here. Next we're going to use our white cardstock, and I'm just going to put it down. I'm not pressing very hard, and you can see it is bleeding through, and it's magic. It curls because it is not intended for watercolor. Now, it is not as vibrant, and that's okay. And you can just continue to pick up ink wherever you would like. And sometimes I think some white places are good. Again, this is curling because it is not watercolor paper. It is not intended for this medium. It will dry. It will be flat. It will, I don't remember where. Let's see. This is the same paper. It will be a little, it's not perfectly flat, but it is not going to remain curled up like that. Okay? This will also dry off camera. Now I have a little bit more left, so let's take the really thin paper that is the sketch pad, and let's see what we can do here. This is also going to curl up, I believe. Yep, not quite as dramatically as our white paper. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty, pretty, pretty. See, I love this technique. This is just, I feel like I am an artist when doing this, because you never know what it's going to turn out like. And again, I'm going to leave the white spots like they are, dried off camera. Now, I do have some strips. This is from our white cardstock, and I'm just going to lay it down here and try to pick up some of that excess color that we still have. No rhyme, no reason, because you know, I don't know if the punch is still available. That's looking kind of muddy there. We may or may not use that part. You know, you can use stamps, you can use dies to create flowers. Again, it's not as vibrant. All right, so now we have used a lot of this ink, and we are going to just wipe it off. And there, it is wiped off. So, how about we do, I really like these three colors a lot. How about we do, we're gonna swipe it across. So I just swiped it, big swatches. So let's spray it. And we're gonna put it right in the middle. This is our watercolor paper. You will get inky on your hands. Oh, that's kind of nice. You can see it's much more vibrant. Really don't like that muddled look. Oh, but that's kind of cool. I like that. It's muted and yet vibrant. Very pretty. All right, one more on the basic white. Oh, that does not look very good, does it? See? But you just play. That's the beauty of this. You just play. Just play, play. I think this would be a great activity for kids. They're home for summer, and I think this would be fun for them to do. It might be messy. You might want to do it outside. I ain't gonna lie. This is why when my boys were younger, glitter was just not allowed in my house because it was just too messy. All right. So we're gonna let those dry. Next, we're gonna try, the last little bit is we're going to do our blends and our markers, okay? And we're going to actually get the paper wet first before we do, yes, before, Michelle, before. All right, so our blends come in light and they come in dark, and I believe I had used the dark on all of them. So, and I used the bigger end. So let's see. Okay. Interesting. Now this is the watercolor paper, and we got the paper wet. You can see the water is pooling on the paper and around the paper. Maybe I should have taken a little bit of the water off. Yes, sometimes I feel this is a lot of trial and error. All right, this one is not really coming out the greatest, and that's okay. But our peach pie, that looks pretty cool. And our petunia pop, that's kind of cool. Now, if I wanted it to be even more muted, let's see if I can soften those lines up there. Ooh, did you see what happened there? That's kind of cool. You just do it around that, or you can take your paper towel and kind of just dab at it. That would be nice for a very like soft kind of card. Okay, and put that off camera to dry. Next up, we are going to use our markers. And I think the markers turned out better when I did them the other time. But we're gonna go ahead and get it wet again. Maybe not as wet. So let's start off with our darker. Oh, did you see that? Was that not spectacular? Oh my word, that was so cool. Oh goodness, so cool. Wow, this color, the is it Summer Splash? Yes, you can tell that they are different here, but when you do it in the watercolor, you can really see the Summer Splash is more of a blue. All right, let's do Petunia Pop. and then finish it off with pecan pie. So the only one of these colors that just doesn't seem to have much to it is going to be the Pretty in Pink, and that's okay. I mean, you can see the Pretty in Pink here, but it's just not dark. It is a light pink. Oh, but this. See, and the paper is starting to dry just a little bit. So now, what's going to happen if I spray it again? It's just going to soften it up a little bit. Take and just do a little dab. But there you go. Watercolor paper, when you're using the blends or the markers, needs to be wet first. And I would recommend doing the markers over the blends. The blends just didn't. And I think because the blends are an alcohol base where the markers are a water base, I guess. I don't know. So we're going to continue to leave these off camera to dry. And I will either come back and do a video of making cards with them, or I will make a post and show you the final product of them. So I'm going to put this away.